Hi, I'm York Homan, coming to you from Heroes and Dragons in Columbia, South Carolina. Here today to show you the difference between what might be trash and what might be treasure in your comic book collection at home. Okay, so here we've got a couple examples of what are referred to as Silver Age comics, which started off in the 60s, more or less. First off, you see down the spine here, we've got a lot of wear. The staple is kind of coming loose a little bit right there. The corners are obviously blunted, creases all over the place on the book. The edge is not sharp and clean like it just came off the press. Another corner fold there, as well as some more edge damage here. Nothing essentially wrong with the central image of the comic, so it presents pretty well. And then inside, we open it up, and the paper is definitely cream white at best. It's not nice and bright like it ought to be. We've got some foxing up here along the top of the pages. And so a lot of people think that any old comic book is worth a lot of money. Again, more dirt and water damage down at the bottom. And that is not always true, because even though this is a 15-cent comic indicating that it's from the early to mid 60s, this book is maybe worth $2 at best. Even having an important comic book, a major key as we call it in the industry, doesn't always mean that you also have a very valuable comic book. So this is Star Wars #1, 2 copies of the exact same book, yet you can see that they both look radically different from each other. This one obviously has been left out in the sun, most probably, and that is why you see that the color is not even remotely as sharp or bright or clear as this copy over here. Again, going over the physical defects that are apparent just on the front cover, since they're in bags, but we have some corner damage and some edge wear here along the top, as well as what looks like some rubbing of the ink there as well. A little fold here in the corner, although the corner is still intact. We have a couple color breaking ticks down the spine, and down here by the staple, it's also faced some damage. Corner blunting down here, some more rubbing and wear along the bottom edge there, and again some more damage in the bottom right corner. And then the general sun damage on top of it leaves this one to be about a $25 copy of Star Wars #1, whereas this one you look at, you see the edge is nice and sharp here, all the way down this side too. Corner still perfect 90-degree angle down there, no rubbing or anything along the edge. That corner looks good. Coming up the spine, there's just a tiny little tick there that doesn't break color. Another one there that does, and another one here that does not. Another one here that does not break color. And up in the top corner, just a tiny little bit of blunting right there. And so this one, in that kind of condition, where it almost looks like a brand new book, even though it's 40 years old, is worth about $150 to maybe even $200. With Star Wars getting as popular as it is nowadays, these books have been shooting up a lot. So now that you know a little bit about some of the common defects that you might find on your comic books, I wanted to show you the difference between a raw comic book, which is just like how you'd get it here at the store, and a graded comic book, which you send off to an independent company that then verifies the quality of the comic itself. So in this case, with Harley Quinn #2, we have a $15 book that is virtually perfect as far as the eye can see from a cursory examination. And so this book goes for about $15. Here we have the graded copy, and you see that they put it in this nice plastic case which protects it, and they put the grade up here in the top corner, as well as their certifying sticker, so that you know it has been authentically graded by CGC, which is the comic grading company. There's a few others out there with a little bit of damage right there along the top. It's really not too bad. Still a nice presenting copy. Also down here in the corner, we can see a little bit of blunting, and that's why it didn't get that perfect score. But since it has been verified by this independent company as an 8.5, which is still a nice copy of this book, in this case, this book would sell for $25 because of the extra cost and effort that went into certifying that it is in fact an 8.5. So action figures, as well as comic books, have become very collectible in years past. We have He-Man, Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all these things from the 80s and even earlier, going back to the 30s and 40s when toys were first starting to be produced out of plastic, are highly collectible as well. Here we have an example of an original Star Wars figure, Luke Skywalker of course, and if you've got some old toys sitting around in some boxes, maybe in the attic. Hopefully not though, because the heat isn't very good for the plastic. You know, you want to make sure that the action figure is clean, there's not a bunch of wear or damage or broken pieces, and the accessories also add to the value of the figure. As far as collecting of vintage action figures goes, you have loose action figures, you have graded loose action figures where they're encased them in these plastic cases just like you saw with the comics, and they put a certifying label on the inside that displays the grade, what the figure is, when it was made, where it was made, and whatever sort of certifying mark that the company who grades it puts on there. Then you have vintage figures as well, still on the card. So as you see with Snake Eyes here, manufactured probably 1988, 89 I want to say off the top of my head. Originally sold for $3.33 at Kmart. Nowadays, on the card, fully intact, this figure is worth $60. So if you've got anything left like that, those are definitely more valuable. Beyond that, you can also get your carded figures graded just like the loose ones. And so again, you see they put it in the plastic case here. There's a little sticker down at the bottom that shows that this is a 9.0. It was graded by AFA, the Action Figure Association, or Authority, my apologies. And this is the highest level of collectible toy, even though you can't play with it. So hopefully that helps clear up whether or not you have trash or treasure in your collection. And if it doesn't, feel free to come visit us at our new Giant location at 1807 Bush River Road in Columbia, South Carolina. Or you can find us at Soda City Comic Con August 10th and 11th right in downtown Columbia as well.